What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy Chef. We are back, and you already know what time it is. It is time for the YAK Pod, episode number 78. Now, you know what we're going to get into today. We are going to be talking about that NFL schedule release. And if you are tuning in at the time of this podcast, or the start of this podcast, I should say, the NFL schedule is currently being released. Now, as we go on, I will be refreshing to get the official for what is coming out. Let's see if we can get our first official release of what to expect officially. Now, we've seen some other podcasts talking about week one matchups, wanting the Rams and the Lions. But let's see if we can find officially what these will be. What is going on, John F. and Lord? So we see the London games have already been released. It'll be the Jets and the Vikings, the Jaguars and the Bears, the Patriots and the Jaguars. Rams, Lions, confirmed. The 2024 NFL schedule release, complete slate of week one games. Rams, Lions will be among the week one games. Listen, this has been speculated. This has been leaked. But it is now official. The Rams will be coming to town to get that ass beat again. Hopefully. It will be at Ford Field at 8:20 p.m. on NBC, 8:20 p.m. Eastern. And that is going to be Sunday, September the 8th. Sunday, September the 8th. We have the Rams coming to town. We should boo the kids. We should boo the wife. We should boo Stafford. We booing everybody out here. You understand what I'm saying? We're booing everybody out here. We don't care about the Los Angeles Rams. We do not care. So, John F. and Lord, what do you think about this news that we have the Rams week one? Get it started. The rematches are gonna happen. We got a lot of rematches. We don't care about the Bucks rematch because we beat them twice last year. The Cowboys rematch, we want that. The Seahawks rematch, we want that. But it seems to be the first few weeks is all about rematches from last season. So I'm excited to see when we are going to be playing officially. When we are going to officially be playing the Cowboys and the 49ers. So what do you think about the news? Let me see. Let me refresh Twitter. I'm doing double duty here. I'm refreshing Twitter. Let's see. And I'm refreshing NFL.com. All right, let me see what we can get here. So we've got that for week one. We can talk about some of the other things as well. But obviously, we want to get the Lions games. So the live schedule release is here. Netflix gets Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens, Texans on Christmas. Netflix is getting into the game. I have NFL Network on my TV. I can just pull it up. Why don't I do that? John F. and Laura, give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up and see what the live schedule release is doing. Let me see. 1 second. All right. Why? So why wouldn't you want to watch us on Netflix? What's wrong with Netflix, man? Do you not have Netflix? Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I have so many channels that sometimes I forget I have certain channels. That's that's just the plight. um, I have Netflix, but I don't have to pay for it. Um, we do have a Thursday night football game, so let's see what that's looking like. Um, I mean, this schedule release I know is going to be at least an hour, so we're gonna go with that. Um, it doesn't say yet; it just says TNF. I think it was week. I don't know who it was. Um, we're not playing the Chargers. The Chargers is what's up right now. Let's see how much more. Hey, mile marker, what's going on? Multi-channeling, yes, but we're doing the same thing. I'm on NFL Network right now. I'm on NFL.com and I'm on Twitter, trying to figure out what we have. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see if I can just go straight to the Lions. Let me see. So we know that week one we have the Rams. That's Sunday night football. The Jets are Monday night against the 49ers. We know the first game of the season is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. Um, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Signing into NFL Network. Hopefully. Trying to get to the Detroit Lions. All right. The Lions. This out of the way. All right. So the Lions have announced their schedule. Um, so as we said, we have the Rams, the first game of the season, Sunday night. Um, the next Sunday, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 1 p.m. on Fox. Then we have the Arizona Cardinals at 4:25 p.m. on Fox. We are away, so we got the first two games are at home. Um, and Seattle again is at home. That is 8:15 p.m. So that is Monday Night Football. So week 4, September 30th, Monday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks. Then we have the bye week, which is week 5. So a lot of this stuff that we saw earlier today was pretty accurate. It was not inaccurate. But of course, we wanted to make sure that we had the official schedule release. Um, so let's see. Week 6, we have the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go. Week 6. It is 4:25 p.m. So I'm guessing it is America's Game of the Week because it's on Fox. Week 7, we have the Minnesota Vikings. We're at the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, we're at the Cowboys. We're always at the Cowboys. They never come to Detroit. The last time they came to Detroit, I believe, was in the 90s. Or maybe they came in the 2000s, but we were so bad I just didn't pay attention to it. Week 8, we are playing the Tennessee Titans at 1 p.m. Week 9 is our November 3rd. That's pretty good time to go to Green Bay. At least we're not finishing we're not going to Green Bay in like January. So 4:25 p.m. again, I believe it's America's game of the week. Week 10, we are at the Houston Texans, so we have to go to the state of Houston twice, or the state of Texas twice. Sorry, did I say the state of Houston? Sorry, I know my geography. We have to go to the state of Texas twice. That is 8:20 p.m. So that is a Sunday night football game. Sunday, November 17th, we're at home against the Jaguars. That's 1 p.m. So then the next week we are at the Indianapolis Colts at 1 p.m. Then week 13 versus the Chicago Bears. That's actually bad. Chicago Bears are Thanksgiving, but that's not the bad part, because that's the first time I've said Chicago, and they're coming to Detroit on November 28th, which means we're going to Chicago in December. So that's not a great draw for us. Then we've got the Packers coming to town right after the Bears on December 5th, 8:15 p.m. Again, this is another primetime game, and it is on Amazon Prime. Then we got the Bills. They are coming to Detroit, so we don't have to go there. We have the Bills at 4:25 p.m. on CBS, so that's not an America's game of the week. Sunday, that's Sunday, December 22nd. We're going to the Bears, Chicago, at 1 p.m. on Fox. Then Monday, week 17, we have at the San Francisco 49ers. All the way down to week 17, 8:15 p.m. It is a Monday night football game. And then versus the Minnesota Vikings, we finished the season versus the Minnesota Vikings. There is no day or time for that, so we do not know. So right now, that is our schedule, and we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I was told 5, 4, 5. We have 5 primetime games. 5 primetime games. 5 primetime games is wild. So that means that the people want to watch the Detroit Lions. That means the Detroit Lions have arrived. Let's get to the chat. Let's see what you guys think about this schedule. John F. and Laura says, if Brad Allen's crew is not there, I'm okay. There's no way in hell that Brad Allen's crew is there in Dallas. I don't think there is a way in hell that Brad Allen referees the Detroit Lions this year. Why do I say that? Bunch of negative press. But actually, that could be wrong. The NFL might like the negative press because it's going to drive up the ratings. They know that people are going to tune in to watch, even people that aren't Cowboys and Lions fans that heard about this horrible, evil character named Brad Allen. Let's see. David Barton says we will start 4-0. Hey, I don't hate it. I mean, we've got the Rams, the Buccaneers, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks. 2 of those teams we've beat recently. I think Jared Goff has like this insane record against the Cardinals, so that he doesn't really lose to the Cardinals like that. And the Seahawks without Pete Carroll. The reason that I believe that the Seahawks have had our number for a number of years is because Pete Carroll was the coach. Um, Now, Mike McDonald, I didn't like him as the defensive coordinator in at Michigan. The reason I didn't like him as the defensive coordinator at Michigan is because he couldn't adjust to tempo. Um, Now, they don't really play tempo like that in the NFL. Obviously, he was a defensive coordinator in Baltimore. Now, my question is, and you guys can help me out with this in the chat. Who is he? Who is Mike McDonald? Is he the defensive coordinator that couldn't adjust to tempo um, in college? Or is he the defensive coordinator who had the world beating defense in Baltimore? Now, we have to take that with a grain of salt when we talk about a world beating defensive coordinator in Baltimore, because Baltimore always has dogs on their defense. That is something that they make sure to have. They have immense amounts of talent on their defense. They have Kyle Hamilton. They have Marlon Humphreys. They had Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith. Patrick Queen is gone, but Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, Matabuke. They had Jadeveon Clowney on one end. I don't remember who was on the other end. But, from the safeties to the corners to the linebackers, the defensive line, just a bunch of dogs everywhere. So it's hard. It's hard not to look like a fantastic defensive coordinator in Baltimore. What was the last defensive coordinator in Baltimore that looked bad? I don't remember. When's the last time that the Baltimore Ravens didn't have a fantastic defense? I don't remember. Remember that when the Cleveland Browns moved to Baltimore, one of their first picks was Ray Lewis. Since picking Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and all of that, defense has been the standard in Baltimore. I would have to go and find a statistical year where the Baltimore Ravens defense has been bad. So the original point is which one of those guys is Mike McDonald? Is he somewhere in the middle? Because like I said, I was really thoroughly unimpressed with him at Michigan. I think he actually coached Hutch. I think he was there when Hutch was there. But he just wasn't the bee's knees. The whole thing was like, oh, we're bringing this guy in from the Ravens, blah, 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 blah. We're going to have a pro-style defense. But, yeah, that defense wasn't great under him. This is the same defense that gave up 80,000 points to TCU in the college playoff championship. So I'm not sure which one he is. I think he's somewhere in the middle. Seattle is a place where he should have gone because Seattle also generally, since the Legion of Boom, Seattle has had good defenses. But I think the engine that made that team go was Pete Carroll. And they put Pete Carroll in the box as a consultant. He's not doing any of the coaching. They pretty much put him out to pasture, but they didn't want to fire him, so they just gave him another job. Without Pete Carroll, I don't think that they have the advantage. We're slated to have a much better defense this year than we had last year when we played them. So I'm not afraid of the Seattle. I almost called them the Seattle Supersonics. I'm not afraid of the Seattle Seahawks. So then beat the Cowgirls after the bye, week 5. Week 5 bye is not great. I don't really like that. That's a bit early. That's early. So instead of doing that, obviously I would have liked to have it around week 8 or even week 7, but 5 is early. So it's not great. Um, let's see. The NFL went for melodrama on our first game. Yes, they did. Um, as I said, boo Stafford, boo the kids, boo his wife. We booing everybody out here. We don't care. Um, hashtag boo the kids. That's right, John F. and Lord. Um, home, away, home, bye, away. Yeah, not bad. I mean, starting the first two games at home, and then ending the season at home, that's pretty cool. So, um, Lions will go 13-4, if maybe 14-3, number one seed. Again, um, just looking at the schedule, I said 13-4 when the teams were released, not the schedule. When the teams were released, I looked at it and I said probably 13-4. Um, and I could have had it 14-3, but I had to throw some losses in there. Like I think maybe the Texans. Nobody thinks we're gonna lose to the Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't do anything to get better. Um, they signed a washed up Zeke. They lost Tyron Smith, but they generally don't have Tyron Smith. He misses so many games due to injury. Um, I don't know what they did. I don't know what they did to get any better. I know that they lost people. We know Leighton Vander Esch retired, medically retired because of his neck. So they have, who's their running back? Rico Dowdle, and what's the kid's name? Uh, is it Deuce Vaughn? I don't think, is it Deuce Vaughn? I don't think it was Deuce Vaughn. The kid from Kansas State. I don't know if they drafted one or whatever, but no one's expecting Zeke to come in and do anything or be anything. Um, 1 second, I have a package. So, yeah, let's see here. David Barton says 0-17 Cowgirls. That would be awesome if they went 0-17. They should go 0-17. My Marcus says, yeah, it's not the toughest schedule. Sheeta would have had a fit if that crew was there. Yes. When will our first loss be? Let's see here. First loss. Okay, obviously we're not thinking that we're going to lose any of the first four games. We're not thinking we're going to lose any of the first 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So the Houston Texans just is, I don't know. The Houston Texans is the first game I can see. I mean, to be honest with you, because it's a divisional game, I could see the Packers game being difficult because we are in Green Bay. Obviously, we don't know how teams are going to be playing by the 9th week of the season, but I could see it being a difficult game. I'm not going to call it a loss. The Houston Texans, I penciled that in as a loss. Again, I wanted the Houston Texans really early because I wanted them not to be meshing with all the new receivers and all the people that they have. But by week 10, Stephon Diggs could already be a malcontent and he could be destroying the locker room. So, uh, so the Texans, I mean, week 10, that would be our ninth game. I would say that would be our first loss. Uh, I mean, if we come out of the gate on fire, it's tough, man. It's tough to find that a loss. Um, I think the second one is going to be the Colts just because I don't believe that we have any answers yet for mobile quarterbacks. Obviously, we'll have to see what kind of game plan AG is able to put together and who's healthy and who's available when we play against the Colts. And then here's the other thing. Week 12, will Anthony Richardson be available or will he already be injured? I mean, I don't see anybody else on the schedule that's scary, man. We could go 15-2. Now, is that realistic? I don't know, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, it's tough to find losses, man. I don't know if that's just, me being biased because I'm a Lions fan, but I really don't. I said this when the teams came out. I was not afraid of anyone on the schedule. So I'm really trying to talk myself into losses. David Barton says Richardson will be hurt by then. I mean, I hope he's not. I hope he's not because you know what? I want to beat the Colts with Richardson because I want this team to be able to understand that they can beat mobile quarterbacks. Mobile quarterbacks not a problem anymore. We beat someone like Anthony Richardson. Mobile quarterback's not a problem anymore. CJ Stroud is not a mobile quarterback. He doesn't like to use his legs. He can run. He can use them. Obviously, he's more mobile than someone like Jared Goff or Jacoby Brissett. But he prefers not to run, which is to his detriment sometimes. But because he does have the athletic ability, he does move very well in the pocket, which is why I wanted Jared Verse. But it's okay. It's okay. We're hoping for the return of Marcus Davenport. We're hoping for James Houston to be able to return to form. And then you've got DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil collapsing that pocket. And by week 10, who knows what Mekhi Wingo will be. And we've got the other guy from who we signed from, is it Tyler Pecco that we signed from Tennessee? He's going to help in that rotation, clog in the middle. So I don't know. It's tough, man. If you're collapsing the pocket around CJ Stroud, like absolutely collapsing it, we're coming from the edges and we're coming from the middle. He's going to have a difficult time. All quarterbacks would have a difficult time in that situation. And if you can get Anthony Richardson also in that type of situation where you're coming from his face and his right and left sides, obviously his athleticism, he's going to be able to escape a few of those things. But if you're able to set the edge and not let him get around, or you're able to fill that gap with a linebacker, it's going to be tough for him too. So there's a lot of things that we have, the abilities that we have on this defense. But yeah. Let me see. I don't know. Is how far delayed are you guys? Because I know on my live feed, I'm just super, super delayed. Probably about like 5 minutes behind. Mile Marcus says, for me, 2 unsure games. Texans because we don't know them. Niners because we might be spooked. I really don't think we're spooked against the Niners. Okay, so David Barton, you're not lagging behind. Ah, okay, I see why I'm lagging behind because for some reason I was way back there. Sometimes it gets out of sync when I have when I have YouTube open. I don't know. Sometimes it gets out of sync. Basically, it was like 6 minutes behind, but it's not 6 minutes behind. It's actually like pretty much very close. So I don't think, mile marker, that we will be spooked against the San Francisco 49ers. I think went into San Francisco last year and gave them all that they could handle for an entire half. And there were just some bad breaks in the second half. Those two drops, the Jahmyr Gibbs fumble, there was just no momentum that we could get. We couldn't stem the tide against the San Francisco 49ers. It just wasn't something that we had the ability to do, making the mistakes that we made. So I don't think that we'll be spooked at all. We know that we are a team that can beat the San Francisco 49ers. We know that at least for one half, we were the better team in that NFC Championship game. Like, the matchup that we have for the 49ers is not what they want to see. We counter the things that they do well. We counter the things that they do well, right? They run the ball well. We stop the run well. And if we can and this is what the thing that I was talking about with the mobile quarterbacks. If we beat someone like Anthony Richardson and we're able to contain Anthony Richardson, who the hell is Brock Purdy? You know what I mean? Like, Brock Purdy doesn't strike fear into your heart at all. If you're able to beat, and then we've got a mobile quarterback in our division. Well, we've got two. Who knows what Caleb Williams is going to be? But so that's the thing. So we've got two that we have to play against the entire year. By the time we get we will have played all of our games. Let me make sure I'm saying this right before I say it, because like I said, it was week 17. Yeah. Okay. So we will have played all of our games versus mobile quarterbacks by the time we get to Brock Purdy. So we will have seen Jordan Love twice, if he's healthy. We will have seen Caleb Williams. I was like trying to call him Caleb Love. We will have seen Caleb Williams twice if he's healthy. And we will have seen Anthony Richardson if he's healthy. So that's 5 mobile quarterbacks. So the little scampering and scrambling that Brock Purdy was able to do to get out of the pocket and get some of those, long runs against us, I don't think he'll be able to do that, because I think that our defense will be disciplined enough and they will have seen it enough to understand how to stop it, understand like what you have to do to set your edge against a quarterback who can get out of the pocket and scramble and who can hurt you with his legs. Obviously, Brock Purdy is not known for that, but we saw him do it to us. So we know that he can do it. We know that better than, any other team. So I don't think we'll be scared of San Francisco at all. I don't think we'll be spooked at all. David Barton says anything over 12 wins will set the team record. Why? What do you mean? Oh, over 12. Yeah, I mean, we had 13 last year, unofficially. But, they gave us 12 officially, but unofficially we did have 13 last year. So within our division, I think unless Caleb Williams is another Stroud, I think we can sweep. My problem with the Bears is that defense. That defense is scary. Fortunately, they didn't get another edge on the other side of Sweat. They had the ability to, but they passed on Dallas Turner and Jared Verse, which I was very happy about. Very happy. But let's see. David Barton says true. Yeah. So that's the only thing that really scares me about the Bears. I'm not too afraid of their weapons because I think our secondary is vastly upgraded over what it was um, last year. We have four starting caliber corners. We think, okay, because obviously, and I have to be fair, just like when I was talking about the ratings of Jared Goff and the quarterbacks that I would put over him, not a single rookie was even allowed into the conversation. So what I will say to be fair is, okay, I said we have four starting caliber corners already on the roster, and I will say five because of Mosley if he can be healthy. But I have to take the two away because Ennis Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold are rookies. They haven't played in the NFL at all, and especially cornerback is a difficult position for you to to be great at, like day one. Not a lot of corners are going to step into the league and just be great, just hit the ground running. There's a lot of things that they have to learn to get acclimated to, and there's a lot of technique that they have to change for that reason. So I'm going to say we have three starting caliber cornerbacks. Right now, we know that Emmanuel Mosley is on track with his rehab. There haven't been any setbacks. There haven't been any additional surgeries. Last year, that was a problem. He did have, I think, a couple of additional surgeries. He had some, which is the setbacks that he had. So I'm not exactly 100% sure about him. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, Emmanuel Mosley is healthy. We've got we hope that he returns to form. And so we've got three starting caliber cornerbacks that we can trot out there immediately. And then as Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw come along and be what we hope that they can be and be what we think that they could be when we watch their film, that's five, man. Again, by the time you get to Chicago the second time, that's week 16. So week 16, that'll be your 15th game. So Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw will have 15 games of experience. I would say maybe 15. Let's say 12. For Terrion, we're believing it's going to be 15. Let's say for Ennis Rakestraw, it's going to be 12 games of experience. And they will have seen the Bears once before that. So by the time they get to the second game against the Bears, I would hope that they would be ready. Ready to go and ready to see Keenan Allen again. My thing with Rome Odunze is, yes, he's very talented. All right, David Barton had to go to the store before it closed. Yes, Rome Odunze is very talented, but I saw him in the national championship game not have a great game. I saw him be covered. I saw him not always being open. Now, here's the thing about Rome Odunze. If you have a three receiver set and Rome Odunze is your third receiver, who's our third corner? You understand what I'm saying? We've got Amik Robertson. We've got Emmanuel Mosley, who could be the third corner. I don't really think that Emmanuel Mosley is going to be in line to start unless he just knocks everybody's socks off in camp. I'm assuming he's going to be ready for camp. So unless he just knocks everybody's socks off and he shows that he's able to play football at a high level again, I'm not really putting him too into the equation. He's kind of like like Marcus Davenport for me. I'm not really betting on the health of these people um, because they haven't shown the ability to stay healthy. And until they show that ability, I can't really go, oh well, Marcus Davenport and Emmanuel Mosley, they're gonna be great for us. I hope that they are great for us, 100%. I hope that they are, but I'm not expecting it. You understand what I'm saying? Let's see. Mom Marcus says you're a Minnesota Golden Gopher. Your best friend is a hardcore Vikes fan. Um, it's not quite possible for me to cheer on Ann Arbor, but my significant other did. um, well, that's why you don't marry American. Because then you don't have any problems with sports and loyalties and things like this. It's like I could never, I don't care how gorgeous, if someone would have came up to me from Ohio, it would have been off. Like, no, 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 ma'am. I am sorry. You're from Ohio? Get out of here. And I know there's some like Ohio State, Michigan State couples. It's just the weirdest thing to me. Like, I absolutely hate your guts for the entire week that we're gonna play each other. I mean, basketball, no one cares. Like Ohio State and Michigan is a basketball rivalry. No one really cares. I guess because the players are part of Michigan and Ohio State, they care about the rivalry, but it's college basketball, man. That rivalry started on the football field. That's actually where it started. And if you don't know the story behind it, basically, Michigan taught these people from Ohio State how to play football. They taught them the game of football. And Michigan was just busy beating their asses, and they just got tired of it. They got upset. And this is where the hatred and all that stuff comes from. It's the ultimate little brother syndrome. This is what it is. You married Native American, but that's still American, bro. It's just more American than all of us. What do you mean? Said for me, it was the Ravens game that opened my eyes to how poor our secondary was last year. It's just the whole defense played poorly in the Ravens game. I think what was more glaring was not the secondary. I think it was the defensive line. Lamar Jackson had like 10 seconds to throw the football. Multiple times he had 8 seconds. He averaged about 5 seconds. So because that defensive line was so awful, our secondary had no choice but to be awful. I mean, Cam Sutton, obviously, before he became a strangler, okay, I would defend Cam Sutton because he was playing decently until his turf toe injury. And turf toe is not something easy. Just ask Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders has 2 amputated toes because they were dislocated for 15 years. And he went in, I think he had he was having medical complications or whatever. And then he went in and they said, well, these things have been dislocated for 15 years. We're going to have to amputate. So there was no fixing that. So turf toe is no joke. And you could see the difference between Cam Sutton before the injury and Cam Sutton after the injury. If you go back and you're looking at that Tampa Bay game in the playoffs when he was trying to cover Mike Evans, and obviously the games before that, I think he hurt his toe probably like week 13 or 14, something like that. It was late in the season. And he just looked like he was plotting. Like he was just picking his foot up and putting it down and picking it up. It was just very like he was laboring to get this done. So he Cam Sutton was never supposed to be your number one corner. I think that was supposed to be Emmanuel Mosley. And we all know what happened with Emmanuel Mosley. He played 3 snaps for us last season. So, yeah. So I just felt like what was worse and what was more glaring in that Ravens game was just the fact that we could not get to Lamar Jackson. And then if you get to Lamar Jackson, are you really going to sack him? Probably not. I mean, more often than, well, I guess we would have to change the statement. More not than often. If you get to Lamar Jackson, will you sack him? Because, it's usually more often than not, but we're going to say more not than often. So I don't believe that it would have worked out too much in our favor, the Ravens game, because we just weren't, our secondary wasn't great, but the failure of the defensive line just made it look so much worse. To be honest with you, it didn't even look like they were trying to hurry him. It looked like they were kind of confused as to, should we pressure him? Should we not pressure him? Because there's no excuse for allowing a guy to run around for 10 seconds in the backfield. That's not excusable. Yeah. That was a poor game plan. But, the funny thing is when we had a worse defense and we played against them in that miraculous record-setting Tucker kick game, we didn't we played a whole lot better. We contained Lamar Jackson. That's why the game was 19-16. So I don't understand what happened in that game that didn't happen in the first game. Like I said, we had better players last year. Yeah, it was shocking. Everyone was calling AG around the league, like, how did you do that? What did you do to stop him? Asking for tips and pointers and things of that nature. And it was just like, we come back this time and just got the doors blown off of us. But I mean, for whatever reason, man, in the game of football, that happens. You're just going to have games. Just like I was looking on the schedule and I was struggling to find losses. It's going to be a game that you don't expect. You didn't really not expect the Ravens, especially the Ravens of last year, the way that they were playing, the way that they were just kind of steamrolling everybody. The fact that Lamar Jackson doesn't lose to the NFC. I think he's like 19-1. I don't even know the one. I looked it up before. And it was like an unlikely team. It wasn't you wouldn't have expected him to have lost to this team. But with all that being said, that wasn't a game that you didn't expect. You just didn't expect us to get beat like we got beat. That was the unexpected. So, it's a game that, so what game did we have last season that we didn't expect? We didn't really have any letdown games. Anytime you lose to a divisional opponent, it doesn't matter. Like, when we went 0-16, I don't think there was anybody in that division that was going to tell you that we sucked, because we played hard and the games went down to the wire. There were a lot of one-score games, a lot of 7 and 3-point games in that 0-16 season. So if you go back and look that up, um, even an 0-16 team, a team that didn't win a single game all season, was giving people all that they could handle, was fighting, was scratching, was clawing. They weren't just laying down. Now there were a couple of games where they got the brakes beat off of them, but they mostly weren't just laying down. You know, yeah. Chicago on Turkey Day is our first. I want to see. I don't know if you remember this. Monday Night Football against Chicago. Chicago came into Ford Field, and Javed Best ran an 80-yarder up the middle all the way to the end zone. I want to see Jahmyr Gibbs do that on Thanksgiving to the Chicago Bears. I want to see him hit the hole and take it for 80, hell, even 90 yards. If we somehow, with these new kickoff rules, if we somehow get pushed back to the 10, I just want to see him take off and hit that end zone, hit his head on the goalpost, as they say. I'm actually pretty shocked. I guess they just changed it up. We're playing the NFC West this year because we're playing the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Cardinals. Who else is in the NFC West? And the 49ers. So we're playing all the NFC West teams. A few years ago, I would have been afraid of the NFC West, but I'm not afraid anymore. But I'm pretty shocked to see that we're playing another NFC opponent on Thanksgiving, because they generally switch them up. So like everyone thought that it would be an AFC team this year. Okay, like the year before last, we had the Bills, then we had the Packers last year. This year, it should have been the Titans or, somebody like that. We've played the Titans and the Bills before on Thanksgiving. So, yeah, from the West, we had the following Thursday game. Do we have a Thursday game after the? Yeah, yeah. What? That's 2 Thursday games, but again, I mean it's a regular week off. So now, but here's the thing. Here's the situation. We have Thursday, November 28th. No, let's look at what's before that. We have Sunday, November 24th at the Colts. Then we have Thursday, November 28th versus Chicago. So that's 4 days. And then we have Thursday, December 5th versus Green Bay. This is the same situation that we had last season when Green Bay came to Detroit. It was the exact same situation. We had 3 games in 11 days. Same thing. And Goff was not sharp. They got some amazing turnovers, like that forward pass fumble that wasn't a forward pass because it like bounced off of something. It was a fumble, but it bounced off something, so it went forward, and then they just picked it up and ran it back for 6. So there was the fumble 6. But again, like I said, Goff wasn't sharp that game. And because Goff wasn't sharp that game, that led to the turnovers, and that led to us losing to the Packers. Without those 3 turnovers, we don't lose to the Packers because we lost by a touchdown. So without those 3 turnovers, so now we're pretty much going into the same situation. At least the travel from the Colts is closer and a short commute. Uh, yeah, and the fact that we have 2 home games in that stretch. I'd have to look at the schedule from last year, but that three games in 11 days. I don't know if we had 2 home games then. Wasn't one of those games Chicago? Was it 2 Chicago games? Nah, I think one of them was Chicago. If it was the Justin Fields dancing game. Oh, that's when he got up and danced. It was over, but you thought it was over for a different reason. No, it was over for the Chicago Bears because they looked at him and were like, "Nah, not on our field. You can't get up and do the samba or the salsa or whatever it was that he was doing, and walk out of here with a win." And then 2 minutes and 12 points later, we had secured the win. So, I wouldn't suggest dancing on the Detroit Lions on their own home field. But yeah, so again, like I said, this schedule doesn't look like a large difficulty. I know this is a first place schedule. I think the Cardinals are going to be much better this year. The Cardinals had a hell of a draft, but again, it was a draft, and these people are rookies. They've never played a game in the NFL before, so you're not exactly sure what they're going to do, what they're going to be, how they're going to play. These things are not known. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously is gonna be very good, but again, he's a rookie. Aaron Glenn, being a former corner himself, and now having a bunch of dogs that he can deploy, I think that's going to bode very well for us. And I've never really been on the fire AG train, because if you're on the fire AG train, you're assuming that he's bad at his job. And I can't tell you you're bad at your job if I'm not giving you, if I'm not giving you the pieces that you need to do your job. It's like if I tell you, okay, you're going to be a computer programmer, and I don't give you any computers to work with. How do, I'm not bad at my job. You didn't give me any computers. Yeah, I try to put that into perspective. I try to bring, the flavors and all these things. That's why they call me chef. I bring the flavors, I mix it in the pot, put it all together, and then we have a nice show. But yeah, like I said, Marvin Harrison, he should be good, but I think AG will have a plan to be able to lock him down, and that should be good. A cultural anthropologist, okay, cool. That is very cool. We'll have to talk about that one day. But anyway, I appreciate you, Mile Marker. Appreciate you coming out. I know John F. and Laura probably had to go to work. David Barton had to run to the store before it closed. Specialty is human and environment. That's very cool. That's very cool. We'll have to talk about that one day. Get some topics about that, and what can we talk about, but anyway, once again, appreciate you. As always, If you didn't smash the like button on the way in, smash it on the way out. If you didn't share on the way in, share on the way out. And I know you're already subscribed, and I appreciate your subscription, and I appreciate you coming by every single day. And keep coming by and keep letting everybody know what it's all about around here. And hopefully we'll have some exciting news soon. I keep saying it, but it's in the works. It is in the works. So I appreciate it, Mile Marker. Appreciate you always sharing and always talking me up. And as always, until next time, peace.